Okay, so intangible assets, a little bit more detail on this. They lack physical substance. They're mostly rights and privileges, things like that. And also they're not financial instruments. So financial instruments would be things that are, easily, they're stated in terms of cash. They're not claims to receive cash or cash equivalents. So they're not bank deposits like accounts receivable or your investments. So they lack physical substance, but they're not financial instruments. And they're generally classified as long-term because they benefit more than one time period, one would hope. So these are examples of your intangibles. We'll get more to that when we talk about the different types. So the initial valuation, if we're buying them, it's going to be about the same as if we bought a truck or something else. And it's the acquisition cost plus the cost to get it ready for its intended use. So legal fees, incidental expenses associated with purchasing it. Internally created, we're going to expense any research and development. We can only, and this is say where research and development results in a patent, we can, once the R&D is done, then we can capitalize legal costs of registering the patent and the registration costs and all of that. Okay, so that's sort of the basic principles there. When it comes to amortizing them, you've got to amortize over the useful life or the legal life, whichever is shorter. And that makes sense if you think about it. You could have a 20-year patent for some kind of a thingamajig, but if that thingamajig is only going to be useful to you for 8 years, that 20 is irrelevant. It's going to be the useful life or the legal life, whichever is less. Okay, and a lot of times it's going to be the service life, the useful life. Okay, the text goes into a lot of detail in determining the useful life of intangibles. I'll leave that for you to read over. Okay. Usually we're going to be doing straight line amortization, which is not a bad idea. And the residual value in most of your problems is going to be 0 unless they say otherwise. All right. And then your changes in estimates are handled the same as the change in depreciation estimates. Okay, if they're indefinite life intangibles, you cannot divide by infinity. Okay, so there's no amortization. All right, so let's just look at a few of the brief exercises. For brief exercise 1, you've got this company that bought a patent for $54,000. It's got a remaining legal life of 16 years. Patents generally have a legal life of 20 years, but the remaining is 16 when they bought it. But their useful life is 10. So when we buy the patent, it comes on the books as the asset patent, and then the amortization expense is going to be the cost divided by the estimated useful life because it's less than the legal life. Okay, so 5,400. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, so here we go. This is the same information as above. The carrying value of the patent is now 43.2. We have a successful defense of the patent. So this is when somebody infringes on your patent, you incur legal costs in defending that patent. If you have successfully defended it, then you can capitalize those legal costs. If you didn't successfully defend it, then the patent is useless. It's done. So you can't capitalize that, no future economic benefit. So the patent, the successful legal defense, we capitalize right to the patent account. And then we're going to amortize that additional legal cost that's been capitalized to the patent over the remaining useful life of the patent. Okay? So you'd have the patent. This was the book value when we did the defense of it, successful defense, total patent, there's 8 years left, and so the new amortization will be 8,400. Okay, a trade name. This company spent $68 in attorney's fees while developing a trade name, the Mean Bean Machine. And so what are we supposed to do here? And they give an 8-year life. Well, the trade name comes on at $68,000. because that was the attorney's fees. That wasn't the R&D in developing the patent, just the attorney fee. And then the amortization expense, 8-year life, divide that by 8. Okay, what else have we got here? Franchise accounting is very complex. This is really more of a contractual agreement that you get into. You know, you think all of your Burger King and, you know, McDonald's and all that. But you buy a franchise for a cash payment of $120. You've got the right to sell certain products for 8 years. So that comes on as the asset franchise. And you're going to amortize it over its useful life. And notice it was bought in September, so we do have to do the partial period on that because we can't amortize it for the whole year if we didn't buy it till April. Okay, what else do we run into here? Okay, goodwill, I'm going to save for another time. That's a whole topic in itself, and it's best done on its own. All right.